So a little bit about what we're talking about today, just Facebook basics, creating and managing a page. Is there anyone here who doesn't have a page already for their organization? You said you have just not a personal page. Curating content, growing your audience, and measuring success. And then just some of the basics of Twitter, why Twitter, how it works, and best practices. So Facebook basics. Contrary to popular opinion, Facebook is not just sticking your face in a book. Facebook is actually the most popular social media network with more than 1.15 billion monthly users. So there are a lot of people that you can reach through Facebook. There are a lot of people in the animal welfare community who are on Facebook and using it. And a lot of just general public that might be interested in what you have to say. So it is a really good platform for animal welfare organizations and rescue organizations to kind of get their message out, as long as you're doing it the right way. So we'll get through that a little bit. So getting started, the terms. If you're not familiar with Facebook, these might be helpful. An admin is the person who runs the page. Status is your post. Your news feed is what shows up when you're using the page, what comes up on your main page. Tagging is when you're able to link to people or organizations. The timeline is your collection of photos and experience, your brand story. The wall is a space on your profile where other users can write comments. An app is a third-party feature that allows you to link to other places. So we have an Adopt tab that links to all of our adoptables for best friends. We have a Donate tab that links to our Donate page. We have a Volunteer tab that allows you to sign up, learn more about our volunteer process, and sign up directly through Facebook. You're able to give your information and it kind of sends you to our webpage. So this is a basic profile. It's your personal page. You're the only admin for your profile. You control who sees your posts. They can be public, they can be private, they can be set to very specific friends that can see what you're posting. You don't have any analytics features. And it's really a way for you to be able to connect with friends, is essentially how Facebook started. Groups. This is another really great feature of Facebook that animal welfare organizations use, but this is kind of a more private feature. It's where you can have smaller circles of groups that can really chat through Facebook. It's almost like an email listserv. It's just on Facebook. And you can control the privacy settings. It can be an invisible group, so no one will see it unless you invite them to it. It can be a private where people can see it, but they can ask to be added, or it can be a public group where anyone can request to be added and immediately approved. One thing about groups is if you have started a group for your organization and you want to turn it into a page, that isn't possible to do. So if you want to do a Facebook page for your organization, start it as a page and not a group. And then pages are what is the meat of really what we're going to be talking about today for businesses, brands, organizations, celebrities. This is a screenshot of our best friends page. They require an admin or multiple admins. And you have different settings as well. So some admins can have a little more leeway as far as what they're able to do. Others can only view analytics. So some can add new admins, can post new content, can edit content, and then there are others who can have fewer of those rights. So depending on who from your organization is helping out, maybe you don't want to give them full access to your Facebook page, but you want them to be able to see some of the analytics. And that's where those different types of admins would come in handy. The posts are public. That is something that you cannot change. They will all be public. However, there is a targeting feature that allows you to target your posts, whether it's location. There are specific demographics you can look up as well. I think age, gender, And I think that they've added other things like what your likes are on Facebook. So if you like animals, you can target your post to that. That's a really great feature for advertising, being able to use those targeting features. And everyone here already has a page, correct? So we don't need to go through how to build a page. Okay. So as far as curating content and best practices, this is something that a lot of people will have different opinions on, as far as strategy and how and when you should post on Facebook. This is just my opinion and what has worked for when I ran social at Austin Pets Alive, and now what's working for us at Best Friends Animal Society. So that's just my perspective. There may be other things that work for you and your organization, but this is what we have found works for us. And this is just a good quote that just reminds us that we need to be very specific about what we're saying about our organization and what we want people to know about us. So you have a page. Now what do you do with it? You want to invite your friends to like the page. You want to promote the page. You want to have links on your website. You want to have little icons on your website with a little Facebook logo that links directly to your page. You want to include it in your emails and your newsletters and your signage, even if it's just the little Facebook or Twitter logo on your signage. People will know that you have a page and will be able to go search for you. And post good content and do it regularly. That's one thing that is super important, is to keep some sort of consistency. And what should I post? This is probably the question that I get the most as far as Facebook, as what should we be posting? And really, our rule of thumb is if you don't have anything interesting to say, don't say it at all. It's better to not put a post out there that's not really going to garner any attention or interest than to put something out there, but than to not put anything out there at all. Really, that's not going to hurt you. As far as what we post a lot of success stories. We link a lot to our website. We're very lucky at Best Friends in that we have really great writers and really great content and really great imagery. So we're able to use all of that. Photos are huge. If you can get great photos and use them to tell your story, people are so drawn to visuals, and especially animals. So if you have volunteer photographers that can help you out, help you get some good imagery, I would highly recommend that. Better yet, if you have people that can help you with videos, that's also a really great tool to tell your story. And one thing interesting about videos that we have noticed at Best Friends is videos that we upload directly through Facebook, so just uploading the direct file, do significantly better than linking to a YouTube video. Facebook does not like YouTube. That's a Zuckerberg-Google war. So if you link to any YouTube videos, they're automatically not going to do as well just based on the Facebook algorithm. They don't like to give YouTube more attention because it's taking them off the page and going to a Google page. But if you upload a video directly, one, it automatically plays in your news feed. If you're scrolling down and you see a video and you stop, the video will start to play. It won't play with sound, but it will play. So a lot of people will get intrigued and click on the sound and then actually watch the video. So you're going to get a lot more views that way. And we've seen a lot of success lately directly posting videos to our page and getting them to either click through to whatever story we're trying to tell, or if there's a specific ask. We've done some donation asks as well through videos, and those have done really well. We did a Thanksgiving video and posted it on Thanksgiving, just like a really cute, this is what we're thankful for. And that was one of our top 10 posts of last year, or top 5 posts actually. I think it was number 4. So videos are very engaging. People tend to like them a lot. People also like behind the scenes information, photos, videos, things that you can share, what you're doing at the organization to help these animals that they might otherwise not know about. information that they feel like they're exclusively getting because they follow your Facebook page. Adoption specials, always a really good way to promote your adoption specials, or, recent adoptions, any long stays, success stories, specific questions that you might have for your fan base, sharing cool content that make your fans feel cool or smart. That's not necessarily as related to animal welfare, but there's like an interesting article or something that relates to animal welfare. You could totally share that. And then something that is newer to Facebook within the past year or two, they've started hashtags. So you can use a hashtag in your post, and it will allow it to be seen by more people if they click through. They're not as popular as they are on Twitter and Instagram and other platforms, but it's just something to be aware of. We did a Super Bowl post, just like a cute photo, and we were sure to include the hashtag that was trending for the Super Bowl just to kind of get that seen by more people if anyone clicked through to see what the Super Bowl hashtag was doing on Facebook. You probably see a lot of memes like this on Facebook as well. Based on the Facebook algorithm, they tend to ding those so that they don't do as well, kind of like they do with the Google URLs or YouTube URLs as well. So if you're going to post cute stuff like this, do it minimally, I would say. Sometimes there is, a time and a place to post something like this, and it might be very fitting to a message that you're trying to get out, but I wouldn't make your content strategy structured around memes and content like this. So how should you post? Like I said, photos are the best. Those pretty significantly outweigh our other posts as far as what our most popular posts are. The photos just automatically do better than a direct link. Be human. People want to feel like they're hearing from an actual person within the organization, not just some random organizational voice. At Best Friends, we sign our posts. We have 3 different managers of our social channels. And so we sign our posts with our name, just so people know who they're talking to. We also sign our comments if we're responding to questions in the comments, and our messages as well. We sign those personally, just so people know, who specifically they're talking to. For Facebook, we just do first name. We will in the messages. We'll respond, and I'll say, Melissa Miller, social media community manager, just so people know, because there's a little bit more room there. But as far as on the posts and then answering questions within the post, we'll just do first name. But we have in our about section on our Facebook page, we actually say who our social admins are and give first and last name, just to give people a little bit more context. Watch your formatting. Typos are the devil, and people will notice them, and it definitely happens. But try to take a close look at things before you're posting. Have other people take a look. At Best Friends, we actually have a Google document that we draft all of our posts in, and there are a couple of us in it at any given time, just so that we can look over each other's work and make sure that no miscellaneous typos are slipping through. Think about the action you want. And this is something that I think animal welfare organizations struggle with. We have too many calls to action through one vehicle. So don't ask for your fan base to do 3 different things in one post. Focus on one, and get your fan base to really focus on that as well. It's totally understandable that you're going to have more than one call to action, but use different posts for that. Don't get them all in one post. Don't ask people to adopt, donate, volunteer, foster, all in one post. If you're going to tell people how they can help, maybe it's a specific animal, you can focus on the adoption need for that animal versus all the other things. Yes, all of the other things would help, but the more defined of an action that you can give, the more likely you're going to get a result. Generally keep your posts as short as possible. Sometimes that's easier said than done. But if you can keep your posts short enough to where they won't get cut off in the newsfeed, that's great, because when people are scrolling through, they can read the whole thing. And just generally, people don't want to read paragraph and paragraph and paragraph on a Facebook post. That's not what they go to Facebook to do. They just kind of want to see what's going on in the world and not necessarily read novels. Be positive. That's something that is really important, especially with best friends. Our messaging is always, we try very, very hard to always have positive messaging and not focus on the sad outcomes or the animals that may be killed, even though that can be really tough sometimes. But trying to keep people engaged positively is definitely our goal. And always keep your brand and overall message in mind. So if you don't post on Facebook per day, no one's going to cry about it. It's totally okay. Post what you have that's important, not just posting to post. So this is a study from a few years ago that just found out that Facebook fulfills two of our basic needs, the need to belong and the need for self-presentation. So make your content do that for people. And then I've mentioned a few times about the Facebook algorithm, and that's essentially how Facebook decides what shows up in people's news feeds. And this changes throughout time. They're constantly tweaking their algorithm. It's not something that brand strategists can really keep up with. We can do our best guess. But your affinity, so if someone is a big fan of your page and is visiting your page a lot or clicking on the posts that show up in their newsfeed a lot, it's more likely that your posts are then going to show up on their newsfeed because they're constantly going to your page. So Facebook figures that out and figures out that that's something you're interested in. So they're more likely to show that for you. Weight, photos and videos, like I said, do the best. Links do well. Facebook, within the past year or so, they've changed the size of the image that populates with a link. So it's a little bit more engaging than just like a random link. It looks like there might be a photo as well. So if people go to click on the photo to see it enlarged, it actually just takes you directly through to whatever the link is. And then time decay. If you use Facebook frequently, personally, you'll notice that, posts from like a week ago aren't going to show up in your newsfeed necessarily. It's going to be posts from, the last 24 to 48 hours, what your friends and organizations are doing. And that's just a little bit more information about EdgeRank. And something as far as advertising, if there's something that's a really important in message to you and your organization, and you feel like your fans aren't receiving it, you've tried a couple different ways of posting. You've tried maybe a photo once, you've tried a direct link another time, and it's just not going through, you can definitely try Facebook advertising. That's something that we will use a lot at Best Friends, and I can talk a little bit about that with you. But we absolutely use advertising at Best Friends. And something that has come up in the past couple months or so is that Facebook is giving less and less weight to brands and organizations and pages because they're trying to convert people more to the advertising model and spending money, just because that's how they make money, is advertising. So they think if they don't let your post show up in people's page organically, then maybe you'll pay to do it. So that's something to keep in mind. However, if you're posting really engaging content that's garnering a lot of likes and comments and shares, then that content can do well organically and can show up in the newsfeed. But it's just a matter of making sure it is actually something that's engaging and people are interested in. What not to do. This got cut off a little bit. But like, no bra day. A little ridiculous. You don't need to go out there to, make a point. Try to keep things on brand. I would say that would not be on brand for most animal welfare organizations. Another big what not to do from our perspective are these types of really sad, this animal is about to die, urgent, need foster, need transport, need anything photo. I'm sure you guys are all too familiar with photos like these. I mean, I see a lot every day, and it definitely can wear on you. So we try as hard as we can to not show these like sad, depressing photos, because for the majority of people that are on Facebook just to see what their friends are doing, they don't want to see that. They're going to turn away from that, or they're going to unlike your page. They're going to hide your posts. They don't want to see that. It's almost like the Sarah McLachlan ASPCA effect. It makes people sad and they just want to turn it off. So the more that you can do to portray a happier message, even if it's a need, it can still be, not these terrible photos. But try to get people to want to look at your content instead of looking away, and saying, there's nothing I can do about that. And I know that this is tough because a lot of organizations have found success on posts like these. But if you're looking at bigger picture strategy for the organization and growing the page, this isn't something that's going to help you long term. It's more going to make people feel helpless instead of inspiring them to help. So this is just an example of that. Like, make your fans feel empowered to save lives. There's a big difference between save a life by fostering a kitten or help, we desperately need kittens, or kitten fosters, or kittens are going to die. People are going to be a lot more likely to respond to that first message that, like, you can save a life. All you have to do is foster this little litter of kittens. Look how easy that is. The other thing is, as far as your positive messaging, you want to make your fans feel a part of your solution. Don't blame them when things go wrong. Don't blame them. Say you did put out a plea for a specific animal, and unfortunately you weren't able to save it. Maybe no one stepped up to foster or adopt or transport. As frustrating as that can be, don't turn around and put the blame on your fans and say, well, no one stepped up, so this animal died. It's your fault. Because again, that's going to make people turn away. It's not going to make them feel empowered to want to help you. It's just going to make them feel helpless. So the more you can turn that around with a positive angle as much as you can, and as difficult as that can be, the more success you're going to see long term as far as communication strategy. And make sure that all of your little posts kind of tie back to your overarching big picture messaging. So whatever that is for you, whether it's increasing adopters, finding sponsors and donors, or just building public support, which is a lot of what we did with APA back in 2009 through 2011. It was just trying to get the support of local Austinites and try to explain to them what we were doing, why we were trying to make the city no-kill, how they could help, and this really fun, positive message. And I would say that APA has a very young fan base here in Austin, which is interesting because for the majority of animal welfare organizations, that isn't true. It's, even for Best Friends, our target is more of a middle-aged woman, and not necessarily these younger, what is the word I'm looking for? Yeah. Well, more of the millennials, I think. APA has been able to hit here in Austin. And those people are influencers and they make a difference. You know, if they're walking around wearing an APA t-shirt or they're volunteering and they're telling their friends about it, it's a really great way to spread the word. And a lot of times that's a good age and demographic for people that might be looking to acquire pets and who might not know any better when it comes to where to get their pet, whether it be, you know, adopting or from a breeder. So the more that you can make your messaging kind of be appealing to the larger audience and not necessarily one specific target, I think can be very helpful. How often should you post? At least once or twice a week. As far as how many times a day, we typically won't post any more than 3 times a day. Our average is 2 times a day. We'll do a morning post or an afternoon and evening post as well. And that does really well for us at Best Friends, but that might not necessarily be what works best for you. You could find that posting once a day is really your best bet for engaging people, or, you know, maybe every other day. It kind of just depends. You can see how people are reacting to your posts and kind of take it from there, but you kind of got to gauge your audience and see what works for them. And then keeping fans. These are the top reasons that people unsubscribe from a fan page, which you can see not publishing frequently enough is an extremely small number compared to the others. So that's not really going to ding you. And this is something where those really sad animal photos and stories might come into play as well, as far as why people might be unsubscribing. As far as ongoing management tips, keep an editorial calendar. We just use our shared Google Calendar, and we put that together on a weekly basis just so we can see what content might be coming out. If there's something coming up ahead in a month, we know there's a campaign going on that we're going to need to post about, we'll go ahead and put that on there as well, just so we know we can kind of see what's going on. And it also helps us so we're not doing too many of the same types of posts or asks in the same day or same week. Like, we don't want to do a big donation push 2 days in a row. We don't want to do a big adoption push. You know, if we do our pets of the week, we do those every Tuesday. So we want to make sure whatever else we're posting on Tuesday isn't another adoption push. We kind of just want to vary the content, keep people engaged, keep them interested in what we're having to say. Add multiple admins. Share the Facebook love, so then not everything is on you, because that is a lot of pressure. Even just yesterday for Best Friends, we had something that we had to get out, and it needed to be a targeted post. It was to Montana, actually. And a couple of us were out, not near a computer, and you can't post targeted on your phone. You can't do, you know, targeted to a specific location. So we had to have someone who actually isn't one of our normal community managers post, just because we needed to get that out. But because he was an admin, he was able to do that. Schedule posts. Does everyone know how to do that? So you can schedule a post for 8 p.m. at night, or, you know, noon on a Saturday, but not actually have to be there when the post is going out. So you can just check it. But also be aware of whatever posts you have that might be scheduled to go out, and keep an eye on the news, because if there's some breaking news of some crisis going on in the world, you don't want to post when that's happening. So if you know there's a post going out, you might need to go and cancel it or change it to a different time. And that's something just in general to be aware of. We try to be very sensitive about, you know, what's happening in the world. The Boston Marathon bombing, this is the last time I can think of where I think we didn't post for like 2 days while all that was going on, because that's not something that is as important. I mean, we think that the work we do is very important, and it is. But when you're looking at bigger picture, you know, what the rest of the country and what the world is looking at, this is a big one. Don't forget to monitor. So even if you schedule posts, make sure you go back and look at any questions and comments. Facebook is all about the relationships. We try to respond to any questions that we get on the page. We try to respond to comments. You know, people say like, this is my dog, I adopted from you. You want to respond to that. You want to make people feel appreciated. And you want to make them feel like they're talking to a person. So again, this is where we would sign our posts as well. But this is a big thing that I think a lot of people forget about. They think it's all about, you know, get the post out and then you can ignore it. You don't want to talk at people. You want to talk to people. You want to actually have an engaging conversation with people. And then if you have a smartphone, download the Facebook Pages app. It is super helpful. You can access your messages, you can access your insights. It's fantastic. So definitely check that out. And it's free. This is probably my favorite Facebook post of all time. And I just like to share it because it's funny. This was on the APA page back after the Bastrop fires in, God, when was that? 2011? Was that 2011? Yeah. This was our friend. She posted on our page multiple times, and she thought that we had taken her English bulldogs when we took all the animals that were at the Bastrop shelter. Well, the night it had to be evacuated, APA took in all of those animals. And for some reason, she thought we took her animals too. I'll read this to you. Everyone, I have a question or other. Something happened. My daughter was a Bastrop fire victim and got evacuated here to Austin. You all know because you helped me get her animals way back last month. Well, here's the problem. Some damn lady trespassed on my property and stole her Siamese cat and took it and got it fixed without even knocking on our door and asking us anything about the cat, a breeding cat at that. Is there anything I or we can do? So this would be an example of a question that I'm not going to answer. Just going to leave that alone. Maybe share the link with a couple of my friends. Say this is what I do on a daily basis. But you're going to get weird stuff like that. It just happens. And you just have to laugh at it. Because if you don't laugh at it, then... and then measuring success. These are Facebook page insights, which as an admin you have access to. They're a very useful tool, and I highly recommend checking them out. You can look at your total likes, how many people talking about your page, your weekly total reach, and it will tell you if you've gone up or down from the previous week, so you can kind of gauge how you're doing from that. You can look at the specific posts. You can see this has the reach, engaged users talking about this, and just overall virality. So super important to take a look at what you're posting and how it's doing. And there's also, you can kind of click through, and when we do more of the live drive, I can show you where it will tell you how many people have unliked or hidden that specific post as well. And it is more likely if you have a post that's super engaging and it reaches like 1 million people, you're definitely going to get, a few unlikes, hides, whatever. It's just the nature of, having a post that reaches that many people. So yes, only the admin can view the insights, and they are super helpful. And the other thing about insights, which is really cool, is you can see the demographics of the people that like your page. So, not surprisingly for the best friends page, the majority of the people who like us are women from the ages of 35 to 44. Not surprising to anyone. But, interesting to look at. And also interesting, you can see, where people come from. So if you're a national organization, you can see, where the majority of your fan base is located. Or even if you're a local organization, you can see if there are people maybe outside of your region that are liking your page, which just might be interesting information for you to have. Typically, photos and videos tend to do better. The caveat with videos is that they tend to do better if they're directly uploaded. Facebook dings you for linking to a YouTube video because it's a Google product and it's taking you away from the Facebook page. So they don't want you clicking off of Facebook, they want you staying on Facebook. And actually directly uploading your videos to Facebook has some, they have advantages as well, because your video will automatically play in the newsfeed if you're just scrolling down. I don't know if you've noticed that, but if you scroll, it will play automatically. The sound won't play, but the video will start to play. And a lot of people are like, oh, what's this? And they turn the sound on, we'll actually watch it. But recently, we've had a lot of success directly uploading our videos. And we've done even a comparison. We did a cute Valentine's Day promotion called The One. And our awesome video team put this super cute, like, top 13 reasons why your Valentine should be four-legged. And like one of them was they won't break up with you via Twitter, like super cute stuff like that. And we actually one day posted it with the YouTube link, and it totally bombed. And then the next day, which was Saturday, posted it directly uploading it, and it did really well. So that was kind of just like a recent example of that working for us. And then I had mentioned too, we did a Thanksgiving video this past year that we directly uploaded, and it was one of our top 5 posts for 2014. So videos can do really well, but the YouTube ding is kind of a bummer. So if you can get a hold of the video files to be able to directly upload them, then that's awesome. Okay, anything else on Facebook before we move over to Twitter? Nope, good.